Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's meeting of Pitlochry Common Good Fund on Monday the 3rd of February. Welcome to those that are in the chamber and to those watching online. Convener, can you just confirm any apologies and confirm the roll call, please?
Thanks, Convener. Only apologies received today are from Councillor Lang. All other members are present in the chambers.
Thank you. Does anyone have any declarations of interest in relation to the business in front of us today? No. Okay, thank you very much. Item 3 is the minutes of the previous meeting. Can I ask if the meeting of the Common Good Fund of the 25th of November 2024 can be approved?
Approved.
Very much. I don't think there are any matters arising for minutes that are not on the agenda today. Can you confirm that no matters arising? Okay, thank you for that. Item 5 is on the Pitlochry tartan. There's a note on the agenda there. Through the history of the tartan is set out there, but essentially on the Pitlochry and Moreland Community Council going into abeyance in 2023, the responsibility for the copyright of the Pitlochry tartan was transferred to the Pitlochry Common Good Fund. Just before Christmas, I received a request from Pitlochry Bowling Club for permission to incorporate the Pitlochry tartan into the design of a new club shirt, and just want to ask the permission of the committee to issue a letter of authority to Pitlochry Bowling Club to use the Pitlochry tartan in its design of its new bowling club shirt. Are members happy with that? Councillor Bailey Williamson.
Thank you, Convener. Yes, I just wouldn't. I am supportive of the request. Don't get me wrong, but I just wondering, have we received advice on what implications or financial implications there may be or may not be with regard to the copyright and the license?
As I understand it, it's it's now the decision of us as Pitlochry Common Good Fund to decide which organisations can use the tartan and in what ways. Obviously, the request here is to use the tartan as part of the design of the shirt, maybe in a panel or something of that nature. In terms of writing to them, I would want to set out, our thoughts in terms of how they would use that tartan, but I wasn't proposing that we charge them anything at this point in time for the use of it, just allow them to use it as a local organisation that's, I suppose, entitled to incorporate Pitlochry tartan into their shirt.
So, as you are aware, Convener, I know there is a group within Pitlochry, and they are keen to have a discussion about returning the Common Good to the community. And I think there's a twin track thing to be going on here with that conversation between all three members of the Common Good Committee and the group, the Community Council, about how or what that would look like in practicalities. But on this consideration, I think, yes, we should have that conversation, but I think we should also include maybe the other players perhaps in the final decision, but I don't have an objection.
Always.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, like Bailey Williamson and yourself, I'm happy to support the Pitlochry Bowling Club's use of the tartan. I think one of the things that we've struggled with over the years in Pitlochry is getting usage of the tartan, and therefore actually I think it's beneficial if there are groups that are interested in using it, that we allow them to use it. To be honest, I'm very supportive of your suggestion, Convener, of not charging them for the use of it as a community group, because it's just taking money out of one part of the community to put it into another. So I'm supportive of that. I think maybe and Bailey Williamson has raised a very pertinent point about how we manage the tartan. And I think I know that there's been a request for a conversation about that, and I'm very supportive of having that conversation in due course. I think there's possibly, and I was planning on bringing this up under the next item, a wider conversation to have about how we manage all of the common good assets. And I think that could play into that part of the conversation as well. And perhaps as part of the public discussion around that as well, that would be beneficial, and it allows everyone to have their say. As Bailey Williamson's indicated, there are a number of interested parties, but also the community needs to be heard in the discussion as well.
Yeah, I know, I'd agree. I'm happy to have that conversation going forward about the future of who has responsibility for Pitlochry tartan. I suppose the fact of the matter is it sits with us just now, and there's a decision for us to be made at this moment in time. So I'm proposing anyway that we approve myself to issue a letter of permission to Pitlochry Bowling Club. Our members agreed on that today. Agreed, thank you. That takes us on to item 6, which is the report on the Pitlochry good assets. This is a paper which was before us at the November meeting, and at that time we took the decision to defer further discussion on the matter until today. Can you just check whether is Fiona with us? Yes. If there are any questions from members about the paper, I think Fiona would be happy to deal with these at this point in time. So the paper, which is unchanged from November paper, is before us. Are there any particular questions that members would like to ask at this point in time? Bailey Williamson. Thank
you. I think looking at the figures for the surplus and deficits, whilst we're in deficit at as of last year's figures, it would be useful, I think, from a community perspective as well as our perspective, before having further conversations, looking about what are the long term. Has the fund been in surplus over a greater number of years, or has it been in deficit over a greater number of years? And just having a 3-year overview of it doesn't seem sufficient. Yeah, I think my question is on average, are we more likely to be in surplus or deficit?
Fiona, I don't know if you know the answer to that question offhand.
Can I just say, Alison's here as well to answer.
Sorry, Fiona, I think you're speaking, but we're not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's extremely faint. We can just hear you in the background.
Can you hear me now?
It's getting a bit better, but
just to say that we would need to do a lot more work to go back more years than the 3 years that we provided, because the information is not readily available, because it's part of the car park account. So we would need to go back and pull out more information, but it would be a case of going through the records and allocating. So I can't give you an answer as to what the historical costs were to the car park for Reakin car park just now.
Sorry, and I think there have been changes to that brought about by the introduction of the EV chargers and the income from EV charging, which only started, I think, a year and a bit ago, if I remember correctly, plus the costs of maintaining EV chargers. So there has been a change over the period of time. Okay. Sorry, any further questions? No. Okay. Are there any comments then, please? Provis.
Thanks, convener. Yes, as I alluded to in my sort of previous comment on the previous item, I think there is a benefit to having a wider discussion around the common good assets. I'm conscious that Pitlochry Town Hall is likely to be the subject of an imminent community asset transfer, which will require a consultation anyway. I'm aware of the interest in the tartan as well at the moment. There has been interest in discussion about the car park income, etc. I think there is a benefit to having a wider discussion around this in the community. I did mention it at the last Pitlochry Moorland Community Council meeting, which I was at, that we had not made a decision on how to proceed with the management of the common good assets and funds until such time as we'd had time to get feedback from the community, including the Community Council. The Community Council hasn't yet met since that meeting because they didn't have a meeting in January, and therefore I think as a minimum we should be holding it over until such time as the Community Council's had time to engage within the community, but also I think there's actually a broader benefit for all of us to benefit from a consultation around the common good assets, since there is going to be one anyway in probably late spring around the town hall. I think we could just roll in the other parts of the common good into that discussion, and I think Bailey Williamson's asked a very useful question around the longer term position of the car park fiscal position, and that's something that maybe if we did it collectively as one consultation, we can prepare the relevant information to inform people when they are considering what the options are as part of that. So I would move that we have a full consultation around how we manage the various Pitlochry common good assets to be done collectively at whatever point the community asset transfer is ready for that consultation. So not to put any pressure on them, but we just do it at the same time as one consultation, and that allows a holistic decision to be made based around all of the assets, and people can make informed decisions and give their views, and ultimately we can understand what the people in Pitlochry wish from our management of the common good assets.
Switch that. I would certainly be happy to agree that we carry out that consultation together with the community asset transfer consultation that's happening. So are there any other thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I agree with Xander's position. I think it would be useful to have that out in the open with the common good assets per se. With just going back to Pitlochry Tartan, I think there is a desire to maybe try and move on that sooner rather than later if nobody minds, but I think it would be useful to have that conversation sooner, and we can move on to all the rest in April.
Provost?
Yeah, no, I think if there is an ability to have discussion with the community group, for example, because we understand what the desire in the town hall group is, but actually having that discussion with the tartan group, for example, then allows us to at least present to the public what the prospective options are around the tartan and say there is a community group, they wish to do this with it, here are your options basically. Actually, I think that then allows us to present an informed decision to the public as well. So I think we can have an early dialogue with them and then present the public with the options.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We're all in agreement, I think, in relation to that then. Okay, fine. If there are no further comments, that concludes the business of the Pitlochry Common Good Fund for today. Thank you.